Hello everybody, Megas here. Recently, Night of the Dead got a update onto its beta branch. And we played this game a while back on the channel, so I thought I'd give it a new fresh look. See what's changed, and kind of pick up from where I had previously played. Now I jumped into the game, and a lot of it still feels the same. You're initially brought into a tutorial, you kind of learn some of the basics, before you're kind of thrown out into the world. And this is very reminiscent of 7 Days to Die for me. I felt like, honestly, just recently playing through that again and getting through the tutorial, I was like, wow, this feels pretty much identical, down to getting an idea of how to build your base, what, like, crafting centers, that kind of stuff. So they both kind of play similarly in that sense still. The one difference with Night of the Dead is it's still... You don't really have quest givers, there's journals instead, which I feel like is a little bit more realistic. Now, going into Night of the Dead, what was added? So there was a lot more weapons added, a lot more guns, a lot more craftables, as well as adding in vehicles. This was a big thing that kind of made it awkward, because Night of the Dead, the other big thing is they added a new map. So it's a lot bigger and it feels a lot more expansive. So having that option to really build out vehicles and kind of do that kind of stuff to get around a lot more helps out. Now, there are some new enemies. There are some new other areas that were touched upon. Honestly, this beta branch has so much going for it. New creatures, new zombies, new pretty much everything. And it does feel noticeably different. And I do like that they really tried to change up some things. Some of them I'm not really too sure how well they're going to work. For example, there's more of a like grading system and durability system added in. This kind of makes it so that like if you do find some sort of gear, maybe it'll be better or worse, so it kind of does incentivize you to pick up stuff. Now, that's not a bad thing, and they did do some balancing, which, all well and good. The big thing is pretty much adding in, like, the weapons, and that was a huge bonus, too. Basically, there's more ammunition styles, so you tend to find those a lot more. I actually found so much ammunition before I even found a single gun, which was kind of odd. They did also add in with the vehicles, there is land and sea vehicles, which is kind of nice. It's not as expensive as 7 Days to Die, where you have like, gyrocopters and that kind of stuff as well. This is more land in the sense of like motorcycles, and then ATVs, and for some reason, like, I think they're not pontoon boats, but they're like armored boats. Yeah. So it's kind of cool with that. There is just a lot. There's a lot more with it. It does feel a lot better, and it does feel more expansive. It definitely feels like something that was needed. And it still plays pretty similar, which I did enjoy. I thought that was neat. And they are doing a lot more with it. I do love the animals. I mean, you can even get, like... There's even stuff like elephants, which is pretty big. So overall, I mean, it's a huge expansion. I think it was like 30 gigs when I went to go download it. So definitely a huge, huge, huge change to the game. And I just really thought that was kind of a cool system. I'm still wondering how much, if it's too late. I believe this game came out a while back. When did it actually come out? It came back out in 2020, which isn't bad, but it still feels like a lifetime ago when it comes to games in general. And honestly, even though this has been getting updates, it's unfortunately not fast enough. And I'm hoping that once it does actually get closer to release, you'll get to see more of it. I do love the fact that I hadn't played since then, but they did add customization to the characters, which I felt like was a really cool idea, and definitely was something that makes it a little bit more unique. So you're not just playing as the main girl. I didn't get really into too far of in depth with it to see how much, but it looks like relatively decent. Overall, it is one of those games that I feel like with time, it will eventually be really, really good. The one other minor caveat I have is it is 80 gigs to install, which I feel like is a lot for a more smaller indie game. But that's a small caveat, obviously. I would recommend checking it out, seeing if you like it. I think it's pretty cool. Overall, it kind of feels like that fitting that itch of kind of the 7 Days to Die with a little bit more of a Valheim almost feel to it, if I could kind of say that's what it kind of feels like. But definitely give it a check out. I will include a link to the Steam store in the description. But until next time, we're at Megasang. I'll catch you later.